Welcome to our deep dive. Today, we're all about luxury. We're going to take a look at the 23rd edition of the Bain Company and Fondazione Alta Gamma Luxury Study,
Yeah.
and really get a sense of what happened in 2024 in the luxury market.
You know, what I think is so interesting about this study
Yeah.
is that it's not just the usual suspects like handbags and sports cars.
Right.
They're covering 9 different segments of the luxury market.
9.
Everything from fine wines to yachts and gourmet food and even cruises.
Wow. Okay, so it really is a luxurious buffet.
It is.
But let's get to the main course here. How did the overall luxury market perform
Yeah.
in 2024?
Well, the market seems to be kind of finding its footing after the roller coaster of the past few years.
Yeah.
Globally, it reached 1.48 trillion,
Okay.
which was a slight dip compared to the exuberance of 2023,
Okay.
but still higher than pre-COVID levels.
So, a bit of a reality check, but
Yeah.
no major crash.
Right.
But inside this massive market,
Yeah.
did any particular areas kind of defy the trend? I'm curious about the shift towards experiences that the report highlighted.
You're right on the money. Experiences were a major bright spot in 2024, with travel, fine dining, those
Yeah.
once-in-a-lifetime moments, seeing faster than average growth.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like people are craving those memory-making experiences now more than ever.
It makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only accumulate so many luxury possessions
Right.
before you start yearning for that safari in Kenya
Right.
or a private concert from your favorite musician.
Right.
But speaking of possessions, what about personal luxury goods?
Yeah.
These designer bags, watches, the shoes,
Yeah.
did those take a hit?
They did. And this is where it gets really interesting.
Oh, wait.
For the first time in 15 years, excluding the COVID period. Of course,
Right.
the market for personal luxury goods actually shrank,
Wow.
dropping to $363 billion.
It actually shrank. That's a pretty big deal for an industry that's
Yeah.
used to kind of consistent growth.
It is.
What's behind this shift?
Well, economic uncertainty definitely played a role.
Okay.
When people are worried about their finances, they tend to think twice
Right.
about splashing out on a pricey handbag or a new watch.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another factor at play here.
Okay.
The continued price hikes by many luxury brands.
So some brands maybe kind of overplayed their hand a little bit, trying to maintain
Yeah.
that air of exclusivity,
Right.
but kind of ended up pricing themselves out of reach for some people.
It's a delicate balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brands have been trying to maintain exclusivity and profit margins,
Yeah.
but those constant price increases seem to have backfired.
Okay.
In fact, the report even states that average profitability actually eroded in 2024, partly due to limited further price increase potential.
That's got to sting for some of those brands.
Yeah.
But before we dive into the strategic implications of that,
Yeah.
I'm curious about how things played out in different parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Is the luxury market experiencing this shift uniformly? Or are there regional variations?
It's a great question. The luxury market is definitely not a monolith,
Right.
and we saw some fascinating regional differences in 2024.
Okay.
So let's start with Europe, which remained the largest market overall.
Okay.
It actually saw healthy 3–4% growth, largely driven by,
Tourism.
you guessed it, tourism.
Yeah.
Italy, Spain, Greece.
Yeah.
Those sunny European destinations were a major draw for luxury shoppers.
Ah, the allure of pairing a Roman holiday with a new designer wardrobe.
Exactly.
Classic.
Now, across the pond, the Americas saw a slight decline overall,
Okay.
with sales dipping by 1%.
Okay.
But within that, the U.S. market showed signs of resilience,
Okay.
with an upward trajectory as the year progressed,
Mhm.
despite all the economic uncertainty.
So the American luxury shopper is a determined bunch.
It seems so. But let's hop over to Asia, where the picture gets a bit more complex.
Okay.
Mainland China experienced a sharp slowdown in 2024,
Okay.
with the market declining by a whopping 22%.
Wow, that's significant. It happened there.
Well, domestic spending in China weakened considerably due to economic factors.
Okay.
And since Chinese consumers have been such a major driving force in the global luxury market,
Mm-hmm.
that slowdown had a ripple effect throughout the region.
So no more big shopping sprees in Shanghai for now.
Not quite, but the Chinese luxury market's definitely going through a period of adjustment.
Okay.
Now, on a brighter note, let's talk about Japan.
Okay.
It was the star performer of 2024,
Really?
with the market surging by an impressive 12–13%.
Japan. That's surprising.
It's quite a turnaround, isn't it?
Yeah.
This growth was fueled by favorable exchange rates
Yeah.
and a surge in tourist spending, particularly in the first half of the year.
So clearly, luxury brands need to be keeping a close eye
Yeah,
on what's happening in Japan.
absolutely.
Okay, noted.
But what about the rest of the Asia-Pacific region?
Yeah.
Did China's slowdown kind of drag down the whole region? To some extent, yes. The rest of Asia-Pacific saw a slight decline
Okay.
of 1–2%, with Hong Kong, Macau, and Southeast Asia
Mm-hmm.
all feeling the impact of fewer Chinese tourists.
Yeah.
But there were some bright spots, too.
Okay.
South Korea, for instance, showed some improvement.
So a bit of a mixed bag in Asia,
Yeah.
with some markets holding up better than others.
Right.
But amidst all this regional variation, there's one factor
Mm-hmm.
that seems to be playing a pretty key role everywhere:
Yeah,
tourism.
you're absolutely right. Tourist spending on luxury goods increased by a solid 7–9% globally,
Wow.
while purchases by local customers actually declined by 6–8%.
Okay.
This tells us that tourists are becoming an even more important driving force
Yeah,
in the luxury market.
that's fascinating.
It is.
But what about the different ways that people are shopping for luxury? Are they flocking to those iconic flagship stores?
Right.
Or are they finding their luxury fix elsewhere?
Well, that brings us to the heart of how the luxury landscape is evolving.
Okay.
And it's not as straightforward as you might think. So those monobrand stores,
Mm-hmm.
the ones you'd find on Fifth Avenue or in Milan,
Right.
actually saw a decline in sales,
Really?
dipping by 1–4%.
So those iconic boutiques are losing their luster.
It is. It is. The decline is mainly attributed to decreased foot traffic.
Okay.
It seems fewer people are browsing those high-end stores.
Oh,
But here's a twist.
okay.
While foot traffic decreased, conversion rates actually improved.
So the people who did venture into those boutiques were more likely to actually buy something.
Exactly. This suggests that those shoppers were serious buyers,
Yeah.
seeking personalized experiences and expert advice.
So it's almost like a return to a more intimate, curated approach to luxury shopping.
Exactly.
Interesting. So quality over quantity when it comes to those in-store experiences.
It seems so.
But what about online shopping? Didn't that boom during the pandemic? Did that kind of cushion the blow for
Yeah.
luxury brands?
Well, here's another surprise. The online channel also saw a decline of 1–4% in 2024.
Okay.
So it seems that pandemic-driven e-commerce surge
Yeah.
is starting to level off.
Okay, so both physical stores and online shopping took a hit.
Yeah.
So where exactly were people buying their luxury goods
Mhm.
in 2024?
That's where the outlet channel really stands out.
Okay.
It defied the overall trend and actually grew by 0–3%.
Outlets.
Yeah, it seems value-conscious consumers are increasingly drawn to outlets
Right.
where they can snag those coveted luxury brands at a discount.
So outlets are becoming the new luxury hotspots.
It seems so.
I have to admit, I love a good bargain myself.
Right.
But didn't we also mention the rise of the secondhand market earlier?
We did, and it's a trend that's definitely shaking things up.
Yeah.
So the secondhand luxury market grew to an estimated $48 billion
Yeah.
in 2024,
Wow.
with sales up 7%.
So pre-owned is outpacing brand new.
That's actually faster than the growth of new luxury goods.
That's wild. What's driving that trend?
It's a combination of factors.
Oh.
So, for one, there's a growing awareness of sustainability
Mm-hmm.
and the environmental impact of fast fashion.
Right.
Buying secondhand is seen as a more eco-conscious choice.
Okay.
Plus, let's be honest, those price tags are pretty tempting.
Yeah.
The secondhand market offers access to luxury brands at a fraction of the original cost.
It sounds like the luxury market is in a real state of flux,
It is.
with consumers exploring all these different avenues to
Right.
get their luxury fix.
Yeah.
But let's get even more specific.
Okay.
What about the individual product categories?
Yeah.
Were there any standout winners or losers?
Absolutely. And this is where we can really see how consumer preferences are evolving.
Okay.
For instance, one category that performed exceptionally well was beauty,
Okay.
particularly fragrances,
Yeah.
which grew by 3–5%.
I guess a little sprigs of luxury can brighten even the gloomiest of days.
Exactly. And it wasn't just the big-name brands that thrived.
Okay.
Niche fragrances also saw a surge in popularity.
Oh, interesting.
It seems consumers are looking for unique scents, those olfactory experiences that express their individuality.
Also a little less mass market and a little more bespoke.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side,
Okay.
one category that faced a tougher year was leather goods,
Okay.
particularly those coveted handbags.
Okay.
We saw a decline of 3–5% in this segment.
Wow, even those iconic bags aren't immune
It seems not.
to the market shifts.
Right.
What's driving that decline?
It's not necessarily that people don't want luxury handbags anymore.
Right.
It's more about a change in what they're looking for.
Okay.
So the report highlights this growing preference for understated designs, pieces that are timeless and versatile,
Yeah.
rather than flashy and trendy.
So it's all about that quiet luxury aesthetic.
It seems so.
Yeah.
It's about quality and craftsmanship over conspicuous consumption.
I like that.
Yeah.
But what about those consumers who still crave a bit of flash and excitement?
Well, there's still a market for that, of course.
Yes.
Right. But even those consumers are becoming more discerning.
Okay.
They're tired of seeing the same old bags everywhere.
Yeah.
They want something that feels unique.
Yeah.
That reflects their personal style.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
No one wants to be carrying the same bag as everyone else.
Right.
It's like wearing a uniform.
Exactly.
But what about watches? They're
Yeah.
considered a classic luxury item.
Mhm.
How did they fare in 2024?
Watches faced a challenging year,
Okay.
with sales declining by 5–7%.
Wow.
It seems the market has kind of cooled down after a period of rapid growth,
Okay.
and consumer preferences are shifting.
So what are watch enthusiasts looking for now?
They're gravitating towards unique shapes, precious materials,
Okay.
and a blurring of those traditional gender lines.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's all about finding those statement pieces
Yeah.
that express their individuality.
So less about following trends and more about making a statement.
Exactly. Now let's talk about a category that defied the odds
Right.
and actually saw growth jewelry.
Okay.
It emerged as the most resilient category,
It sure
with
is.
sales increasing by 0.2%.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend, after all.
They are.
But was it just any type of jewelry that
Hmm.
performed well?
High jewelry, those exquisite pieces with dazzling diamonds and rare gemstones,
Yeah.
was the real driving force behind this growth.
Okay.
It seems that even in uncertain times,
Yeah.
people are still drawn to those timeless, investment-worthy pieces.
A little sparkle never hurts.
It doesn't. But what about shoes?
Yeah.
Did they manage to keep up with the evolving trends? Shoes actually turned out to be the weakest performer
Oh, really?
among soft luxury goods, declining by 5–7%.
So those sky-high stilettos are out. What's replacing them?
It's less about specific styles
Okay.
and more about a shift in priorities.
Okay.
The report suggests that consumers are increasingly seeking comfort
Okay.
and functionality in their footwear.
Yeah.
Sport and outdoor performance shoes are gaining traction
Okay.
as people prioritize their well-being and active lifestyles.
So it's not just about looking good anymore. It's
Yeah,
about
so-
feeling good, too.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this brings us to an intriguing question.
Okay.
Who are these evolving luxury consumers?
Yeah.
What are their values, and how are they shaping the future of this market?
I'm all ears. Let's dive into the minds of these luxury shoppers.
All right, let's do it. Welcome back to our deep dive into the luxury market.
We just explored some fascinating regional trends, and it sounds like the landscape is shifting dramatically.
Absolutely. And you know what they say, the devil is in the details. So let's zoom in and explore those intriguing category-specific findings.
Okay, I'm ready to get granular. What were some of the most surprising discoveries in those individual categories?
Well, one thing that really caught my eye was the resilience of jewelry, particularly high jewelry. Even in the face of economic uncertainty and shifting consumer habits, people are still drawn to those timeless pieces, those dazzling diamonds and rare gemstones.
Yeah, I guess you can never go wrong with a little sparkle, right? But didn't we also mention that watches had a tougher year? Isn't that a bit of a contradiction?
It is, and that contrast is fascinating. While high jewelry thrived, the overall watch category experienced a decline. It seems the market is becoming more discerning with a shift in demand toward unique shapes, precious materials, and a blurring of those traditional gender lines.
So it's less about blindly following trends and more about finding those special pieces that express your individual style.
Exactly. Consumers are seeking watches that tell a story that reflect their personality. And speaking of personal style, let's talk about leather goods, those handbags that are practically synonymous with luxury. We saw a decline in that category too, right?
We did, which honestly surprised me. I thought those designer bags were immune to economic downturns.
Well, it seems even those iconic bags are feeling the pressure. But here's the thing, the decline isn't necessarily about a lack of desire. It's more about a shift in what consumers are looking for in a luxury handbag.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's driving this shift?
The report highlights a couple of key factors. First, there's a growing preference for understated designs. pieces that are timeless and versatile rather than flashy and trendy. It's about quality and craftsmanship over conspicuous consumption. It's like people are saying, I want a bag that's going to last, not just something that's in vogue this season.
So quiet luxury is the new it thing. I have to say, I kind of like it.
It's certainly resonating with a lot of consumers.
Hmm.
And second, there's this desire for newness, for a fresh wave of creativity. People are tired of seeing the same old bags everywhere. They want something that feels unique, that speaks to their individuality. They want a bag that's an extension of their personal style, not just a status symbol.
Makes sense. Nobody wants to carry the same bag as everyone else. It's like wearing a uniform.
Bumbo.
But speaking of alternatives, didn't we talk about the rise of outlets in the secondhand market earlier? Are those trends having an impact on the luxury goods landscape?
Absolutely. Think about it. Outlets offer discounted luxury goods, which can be a tempting alternative for consumers who are feeling the pinch but still crave that designer label. And the secondhand market provides access to pre-owned pieces, often at a fraction of the original price. It's like a treasure hunt for luxury lovers.
So these alternative channels are essentially democratizing luxury, making it more accessible to a wider audience.
Precisely. And that's creating a whole new set of challenges and opportunities for luxury brands. They need to figure out how to navigate this evolving landscape, how to maintain their exclusivity while also appealing to those value-conscious consumers. It's a tricky balancing act.
It sounds like it. But the brands that can strike that balance, that can offer both exclusivity and accessibility, will be the ones that thrive in this new era of luxury.
I couldn't agree more. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about a category that defied the overall trend and actually saw some solid growth in 2024 beauty. It seems that even when times are tough, people still want to feel good and look their best.
Yeah. We touched on that earlier. I guess a little lipstick and perfume can go a long way in lifting the spirits, even during a recession.
Exactly. And what's interesting here is that it's not just about the big established beauty brands. Niche fragrances in particular are seeing a surge in popularity. It's like people are seeking those unique scents, those olfactory experiences that set them apart from the crowd.
So it's all about personalization and finding those products that truly speak to your individual taste and preferences.
Absolutely. It's about creating your own signature scent, your own personal style. Now, moving on to other categories, we briefly touched on apparel, shoes, and eyewear earlier. Any other noteworthy trends emerge from those segments?
Fill me in. I'm eager to hear what's happening in the world of luxury fashion.
Well, in apparel, we saw a similar trend towards understated designs and high-quality craftsmanship. Consumers are opting for pieces that are timeless and versatile rather than flashy and trendy. It's like they're saying, I want clothing that's going to last, not just something that's going to be out of style next season.
So that quiet luxury aesthetic we talked about earlier extends to clothing as well. It's all about investing in those well-made pieces that transcend fleeting trends.
Precisely. It's about quality over quantity, about curating a wardrobe that reflects your personal style and values. Now let's talk about shoes. As we mentioned earlier, comfort and functionality are becoming just as important as fashion.
That makes sense. People are prioritizing their well-being and active lifestyles. No more sacrificing comfort for style. But are there any particular styles that are gaining traction?
Sport and outdoor performance shoes are definitely having a moment. It's like people are embracing a more casual, comfortable approach to luxury. They still want stylish shoes, of course, but they also want shoes that can keep up with their busy lives.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot between style and substance, right?
Exactly. And finally, let's talk about eyewear. This category actually saw some growth driven by designer creativity and a willingness to trade up to higher-priced segments. It's like people are saying eyewear is an investment. It's a way to express my personal style, and I'm willing to pay for quality and craftsmanship.
So it's not just about seeing clearly anymore. It's about making a statement with your eyewear.
Precisely. And what's fascinating is that all these category trends seem to point towards a common theme, a shift towards individuality, authenticity, and value. It's like consumers are saying, I want luxury that reflects who I am, that aligns with my values, and that represents a smart investment.
It sounds like we're witnessing a real evolution in the luxury market, a move away from conspicuous consumption towards a more mindful and personalized approach to luxury.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And this raises a really important question. If luxury is no longer just about status symbols and extravagant spending, what does it actually mean in today's world?
That's a great question, and one that we'll continue to explore as we delve into the report's outlook for the future of luxury, because I'm sure there are plenty more insights to uncover.
There certainly are. And we'll be back in just a moment to discuss those projections, strategic considerations, and those burning questions that brands need to be thinking about. So stay tuned.
Welcome back, deep divers. We've explored the highs and lows of the luxury market in 2024, and now it's time to look ahead and ponder what the future holds. It's like we're standing at a crossroads here,
It is.
with the luxury landscape evolving right before our eyes.
You're right, it's a pivotal moment for the industry.
Yeah.
And luckily, this report doesn't just leave us hanging. It offers some valuable insights into what we might expect in the coming years, along with some key considerations for brands navigating this new era of luxury.
Okay, well, don't keep me in suspense. What does the future of luxury look like according to this report?
Overall, the outlook is positive, with growth projected across the board. So, total luxury spending, that includes both goods and experiences, remember,
Right.
is expected to increase by 5.9% annually until 2030,
Okay.
reaching a staggering $2 trillion to $2.5 trillion.
Wow. Those are some pretty impressive figures. So the luxury market is definitely not going anywhere.
It's not.
What about the personal luxury goods market, though?
Yeah.
Saw a bit of a contraction there in 2024.
Right.
What's the forecast for those designer handbags, watches, and shoes?
Well, the report suggests a more modest growth trajectory for personal luxury goods
Right.
in the short term, with a projected increase of 0.4% in 2025.
Okay.
So it's like the market is taking a little bit of a breather after those years of rapid expansion.
Right.
But don't worry, the longer-term outlook is more optimistic,
Okay.
with potential growth of 4.6% annually until 2030, ultimately reaching a value of $460 billion to $500 billion.
Okay, so a bit of a bumpy road in the near future,
Yeah.
but ultimately a positive trajectory.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's going to fuel this growth? Is it simply that more people will be able to afford luxury goods?
That's part of the story. Demographic trends, especially in emerging markets, will play a significant role.
Okay.
We're talking about hundreds of millions of new potential luxury consumers
Wow.
entering the market over the next few years, particularly in China and other rapidly growing economies.
So that's a massive influx of new shoppers.
It is.
But it sounds like it's not just about numbers. Luxury brands are going to need to adapt
Right.
to these changing demographics and evolving consumer preferences.
Absolutely.
It's not enough to just offer the same old products and
Yeah.
expect these new consumers to flock to them.
You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
It's about understanding these new consumers, their values, their aspirations, their lifestyles.
Yeah.
The brands that succeed in this new era will be the ones that can anticipate and respond to those shifting consumer preferences. They need to speak to these new consumers on their level to create products and experiences that resonate with their desires and values.
Yeah, it's like those strategic dilemmas we discussed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Luxury brands are facing some pretty tough choices here
They are.
about exclusivity versus broader reach,
Right.
about price elevation versus a high-low strategy,
Yeah.
about transactional interactions versus genuine customer relationships.
Mm.
It sounds like they really need to find that sweet spot,
Yeah.
that delicate balance between maintaining their prestige and staying relevant in this changing world.
Exactly. And that's what makes it such an exciting time for the luxury market. It's a time of transformation, of reinvention, of redefining what luxury means in the 21st century.
So if you were at the helm of a luxury brand right now, what would be your top priorities? What would be your roadmap for navigating this new era?
Well, first and foremost, I'd focus on reinforcing those core foundations of luxury quality, craftsmanship, creativity.
Yeah,
These are the timeless values that have always set luxury apart,
right.
and they're more important than ever in today's world.
So back to basics, but with a forward-thinking mindset.
Yes.
It's about staying true to those fundamental principles
Yeah.
while also embracing innovation and evolution.
Precisely.
Mm.
And it's not just about the products themselves.
Right.
It's about the entire brand experience. Luxury brands need to tell compelling stories to create a sense of emotion and connection that resonates with consumers. It's about crafting a narrative, an experience that goes beyond the transaction.
So it's about creating a world that consumers want to be a part of.
Yeah.
A world that embodies their values and aspirations.
Exactly.
But in today's world, that world needs to be sustainable, ethical, and responsible.
Absolutely. Consumers are increasingly discerning,
Yeah.
and they want to support brands that align with their values. Sustainability isn't just a trend, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
Luxury brands need to incorporate sustainable practices into every aspect of their business, from sourcing materials to packaging to production processes.
It's about not just talking the talk.
Exactly.
But beyond sustainability, what else should luxury brands be focusing on?
Well, those strategic dilemmas we talked about earlier are crucial.
Yeah.
Do brands continue to focus on exclusivity? catering to those top-tier VICs,
Hmm.
those very important clients
Right.
who account for a significant portion of sales? Or do they try to expand their reach and appeal to a broader, more diverse audience?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Going mass market could dilute the brand's image,
Right.
but ignoring a growing segment of aspirational consumers seems risky too.
It does.
It's like they need to find that balance between exclusivity and accessibility,
Yeah,
between maintaining their heritage and embracing the future.
exactly. And then there's the question of price. Do brands continue with those price elevation strategies?
Mhm.
Or do they consider offering a more diverse range of price points?
Mhm.
Perhaps even introducing a high-low strategy driven by innovation.
Right.
Maybe they offer limited edition pieces at a higher price point,
Yeah.
while also creating more accessible entry-level products that allow a wider range of consumers to experience the brand.
So it's about creating a tiered approach that allows consumers at different levels to
Yes.
engage with the brand.
Exactly.
But it's not just about price and product, it's also about the relationship between the brand and the consumer.
You're absolutely right. Luxury brands need to move beyond transactional interactions and focus on building genuine, lasting relationships with their customers.
Mhm.
It's not enough to just sell a product.
Right.
They need to create a sense of community, of belonging
Yeah.
that goes beyond the point of sale.
So it's about fostering a sense of loyalty and advocacy,
Yes.
about turning customers into brand ambassadors. It's about making them feel like they're part of something special, something exclusive,
Mm,
even if they're not spending a fortune.
exactly. And that's what makes this new era of luxury so fascinating. It's not just about status and exclusivity anymore. It's about values, experiences, and connections. It's about finding those brands that resonate with you on a deeper level, that align with your personal style and your worldview.
It's about redefining luxury for a new generation,
Yeah.
about making it more inclusive, more sustainable, more meaningful.
Well said. It's an exciting time to be part of this evolving world of luxury, both as a consumer and as a brand.
Absolutely. And for all of you deep divers out there, we encourage you to think about what luxury means to you. What experiences, products, or even values represent true luxury in your life?
Yeah, it's a question worth pondering, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Because ultimately, the future of luxury is shaped by each and every one of us.
Right.
Our choices, our values, our desires, they all contribute to this evolving definition of what luxury means in the 21st century.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the luxury market. We hope you found these insights as fascinating and thought-provoking as we did.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.